president is not relevant here, sir.
I'm relying to hands, so sorry, my first number, I have a number of the time.
I'm finding him in the wild in the comments. So.
Hey guys, it's George Saldana again, and let me tell you that we have tonight some gentlemen that are coming out of Harris County. They're my friends. We have Kevin Frymier, Kyle French, and Chivas Watson. They're going to tell you their story, what happened in Harris County. It's a mess in Harris County, and Kyle and Kevin both got sanctions on the 280th District Family Court. I want you to hear about their story because this story. It happens to too many people in the Harris County area, not just in Harris County, but throughout the United States. And so this, to me, is a huge victory for these two gentlemen. In Harris County, anytime you have members of the public able to hold their judicial elected officials accountable, needs to be talked about. And both of these gentlemen secured a sanction on this judge, and we're just going to talk about it tonight. It's Kyle's case. Kyle's case was in the 280th. Kyle, tell me what happened that day. Just tell me what happened, because this affected you more than anybody else.
Yeah. So, it was a day like no other. I've been into a lot of courtrooms and I've never seen anything like this. Everybody ordered, all courtroom observers ordered to sit in the very back. A lot of police presence. At one time, there were 9 Harris County sheriff officers and bailiffs and detention officers from the jail brought over with their weapons on full display. Everybody in the courtroom was just terrified to even just to watch. The general public became a victim that day just for showing up and trying to support and just to watch and make sure that I got a fair trial.
Kevin, you showed up in support of Kyle. Is that right?
I did.
And so tell me what's this all about? How did this happen?
When I showed up about 8:50, I had to give up my name to get in her courtroom, and then all the court watchers were forced to the back row of her court, while Avda got to, mingle around wherever they wanted to do in there with all their interns. But then she started threatening us, and it got crazy.
Threatening you, yeah. Both of y'all just received sanctions today, and I know we've all court watched for each other. Y'all have come to my judicial proceedings. I've gone to y'all's, that's how we all kind of met. We've met, Chavez on the way. But I wasn't there that day. I know we talked. I know some of the story, but what did y'all complain to the Texas State Commission on Judicial Conduct? Why did you file the grievance? What was the specific issue that she did to y'all? We'll start with Kevin this time.
You name it. Fourth Amendment, violation of canons, not fair and impartial, violating, when she threatened the whole courtroom, talking about if you're not an attorney or a litigant, you have to leave my courtroom or you're going to be held in contempt. Not just that. Then when she said our First Amendment is not relevant in her courtroom.
You mentioned First Amendment and Fourth Amendment. Can you tell me why you believe? You obviously secured a grievance. You got a public reprimand. Is that right?
Private
reprimand. You got a private reprimand on Judge Dianne Curvey, but you said your First Amendment, Fourth Amendment. Can you go into a little bit more depth about that? What did she do?
Well, they blocked me from going in the courtroom without giving up a name.
So because you didn't give your name, They blocked you from entering the courtroom.
That's correct.
So they're obstructing your access into that courtroom because you didn't give your name.
Yep.
Okay. And then what was the other one?
It's a laundry list of things that she did. She threatened the whole court.
What do you mean she threatened the whole court?
Threatened the whole court. If you're not an attorney or a litigant, you had to leave or we're going to hold you in contempt.
So, if you would like to go into custody today, I can help
So,
you with that.
who is under court arrest?
If you would like to go into custody today, I will be happy to help you with that. I have asked for you to leave my courtroom.
Then we're forced in the back row. I mean, everything that she done in that courtroom is just wrong.
She forced you out. She forced you out of the. She forced you out of the back row.
That's correct.
Chevis, you were there.
I sure was.
What did you see?
Was on January 22nd.
Tell me what you see.
So, the night before, I got a call from a number I didn't know, and that just so happened to be Kyle French. And I was headed to Austin at the time, and he told me everything that was going on. So when I come back to Houston to attend the court hearing, immediately upon entering the courtroom, it was like I was being interrogated. As Kevin said, I had to identify myself. And then as soon as I sat down, because already having to identify myself, that was kind of crazy because it's supposed to be an open and public court. I sat down with the rest of us who were there. And Curvey, because I surely won't call the judge, she looked at us, and when things got started, she decided to play any, mini, money, mo. And she told me that I needed to take off my clothes.
What?
Like my jacket and my top. And keep in mind, it was, I don't know if y'all remember Kevin or Kyle, but it was like 30, 40 degrees outside. And we had all come in from the freezing cold. So I wasn't taking my jacket or my top off or nothing. So I looked at her squarely and I questioned why she was asking us to do that. And me as a black man, she responded quite negatively, really nasty, and told the officers to move me out of the courtroom, to come after me and move me out of the courtroom.
And I'll just tell.
I'd only been in the courtroom for, 5 minutes.
So I'll tell you, Harris County, Texas, they do have metal detectors. So you were checked before you went in to the courtroom, right?
Absolutely. I already had to strip to get in the Juvenile Justice Center. So,
like, taking off your clothes. Yeah, I mean, all right. So, man, that's wild. Kyle, you have anything to contribute to this question?
Yeah, I do.
Tell me.
There's been quite a bit leading up to this. Judge Curvey publicly called me a liar on Facebook prior to this.
Wait. So that was part of your grievance that you filed, is that she talked with you, conversed with you, she called you a liar on social media?
Yeah. So we were having a conversation. A gentleman and I were talking on Facebook about my case, very, very detailed about my case, which judges are not allowed to talk about the specifics of outside of the courtroom. And she interjected between me and this individual, and she told them that I had a loose relationship with the truth. So she's indicated that I was a liar of low character or low moral fabric.
I mean, but if a judge is searching you out on social media, that's ex parte communication. To me it is, because now she's investigating what you're saying, what you're doing. And then not only that, but it's your First Amendment right to talk about these judges. If they're not upholding their oath and not enforcing the law. And I've seen judges, especially judges in Harris County, just block me because I don't agree with their rulings, violating my First Amendment right. But yeah, she's going into your comments and calling you a liar in front of everybody. Totally unacceptable.
Yeah, she sought me out. I didn't. It was unsolicited, but it clearly set the pace of what she thought about me before I ever entered the court. I was judged before I ever walked into the courtroom, and so leading up to that, they knew that I was asking for courtroom watchers, and in particular, folks to record because of the injustices and the patterns that have gone on in this courtroom for. Well, now at this time, 5 years. At that time, about 3.5. But it's a very repeated pattern, and as we know, Kevin's got sanctions on this and the previous judge of the same courtroom. This is a legislative issue, George. This courtroom is a loophole to allow this behavior, and because I was speaking out about it and being that I have to deal with this court. They wanted to make an example from me that, you're not going to file, you're not going to get out of it. I've been threatened with trespassing from the grounds. I've been threatened that I can't file into my case.
So wait. So they threaten you that you can't file in your case. They threaten trespass from the court itself, and we'll get in. Interject a little bit of my case in just a bit, but. You said you showed up and there was a whole bunch of police officers there. And and I know, and some of y'all that follow me know that I got beat up by the bailiffs in the 309.
Watch what the bailiff, a Harris County Sheriff's deputy, did first.
What? That's my phone. Get it.
5 of them jumped on me. No criminal history, nothing, just fighting to see my child. Reporting, exposing the Harris County family courts. And so we've seen this pattern between pro se litigants, court observers, and the Harris County bailiffs. Isn't that correct? Would y'all say the same? Kevin? Let's hear from Kevin for a bit. Kevin, what have you seen from the bailiffs out of Harris County?
Intimidation. I've seen the abuse and power play that they use. It's just crazy.
Chivas?
And it's Chavis.
Chavis?
I have seen Harris County bailiffs do a whole lot of stuff. As soon as you walk into the court, they move from wherever and come stand by you, trying to, intimidate you. And then soon as they want, they'll grab you, arrest you, and more. And I've seen them beat up defendants in the courtroom. On the other side of the courthouse, at the civil courthouse, I've seen them take silent men and women, drag them out of the courthouse, out of the courtroom. And so those bailiffs should be arrested as well as the judge. And then if the person walks on their own recognizance outside, the bailiffs, they want to act like the WWF wrestlers or something like that, and so they talk all kind of shit, to defendants, and those are supposed to be our courts. So, I've seen them do a whole lot of stuff that's against the 10th Amendment, that's against their Harris County oath.
I know you've never come to court watch for me, and I haven't court watched for you. We kind of met through Kevin and Kyle, but Kyle has been with me to my own proceedings in the 309th. And the bailiff there, once I gave the bailiff some paperwork and he threw it in the middle of the courtroom. I know the judge saw it, but the judge didn't address it.
Alderete, right?
Huh?
Alderete, right?
No, this was the guy before Alderete.
Oh,
and so this guy, he threw the paperwork and the judge didn't say anything. And then he wanted to arrest me for giving him paperwork. He reached back for his, near his pistol and, wherever his cuffs were on his belt, he reached back And he started to say, I'll take you to jail. And I put my wrist out. What are you going to take me to jail for? Giving you court documents? And then they pushed us out. Kyle was there. Kyle, did you see them push my mom out of the courtroom after my judicial proceeding?
I saw them actually pushing several people, women, out of the courtroom, touching them, pushing them out of the courtroom physically, and very disturbing. I mean, just as you said, for trying to do business in a public building in a courthouse.
Yeah. So, and y'all weren't there. Y'all weren't there when my stuff went down and 5 bailiffs jumped on me. And then they arrested me for assault on a bailiff with bodily injury.
I didn't assault nobody.
This is a video you must see if you care about family and justice. Court activist George Saldana wrestled to the ground in a courthouse hallway, later charged with assault of a public servant after trying for a second time to use his phone to broadcast his own custody case. Watch what the bailiff, a Harris County Sheriff's deputy, did first.
What? That's my phone. Get out. Get out of here. Or what? My phone. What's my phone?
And I was recording the whole thing. Easily dismissed. Within a month, it was dismissed because I was recording. But I understand why people are recording. People are recording because there's an injustice in our own courtrooms. And I'm sure all of y'all advocate for cameras in the courtroom. Yes? Can we all agree on that? Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
without question.
Huh?
Without question.
Yeah. I feel that law enforcement likes to intimidate people, and I understand there's some security concerns, but when you're forcefully pushing people out, grabbing their arms and pushing them out of the courtroom, wanting to check who their identity is, why are you stacking a courtroom with 5 or 6 bailiffs because you have a social media influencer have other people to come court observe? What are you hiding? Then to threaten the media. So part of the video that's out is audio from the 280th court. I've put it out. I don't know how the recording came to be. If Kevin or Kyle want to talk about the recording, tell me about the recording. It's kind of the soundbite to open this podcast up. So you kind of heard it. Kevin, you want to dive into it?
Well, I was given the audio, but it does have Curvey's ass on there talking about, threatening the public, threatening with arrest. Then your First Amendment is irrelevant. That is the biggest shame in the judges when they took an oath to uphold the Constitution and protect our rights, and she's violating the same damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, you would think the judge would know the First Amendment, right? The right to press. You're right. The right of press, because that gentleman's not with us today. But let's talk about something else. So we talked about the intimidation. We talked about them trying to check you guys in. They're obviously worried about the things that happen in that court, that they're taking precautions and obstructing people from going in and witnessing. But do you believe, and I'll talk to Kyle on this. Kyle, what happened on that day? And do you believe it was retaliatory for what happened before?
Yeah, so it was absolutely retaliatory.
So what happened? What happened after all of this goes down? That she's threatening people, putting people in the back. They're having to take their clothes off and check in at the front door. What's going on after this?
Yeah. So long story short, some people were even ordered to leave, brought the administrative judge over who admonished the judge. The people that were asked to leave were let back in because the administrative judge clarified that they're allowed to be there. The court proceeded to basically hold court in a very terroristic, almost a Nazi-like manner. There was no way that my arguments were going to be heard without bias. I was sentenced to 6 months in jail, and interesting enough, the orders that came out, my commitment sentence to 180 days of jail showed, she didn't, the judge didn't even state jurisdiction over the matters that were petitioned for. Instead, she granted attorney's fees to be clarified as child support for opposing counsel so that this dirty attorney could have exclusive rights to jail me for things that aren't child support, but were named by this judge to be child support.
It's a common tactic, right? That they use that. Right. So
nobody shall be imprisoned for debt.
Sure.
And there's an exception for that for child support, and judges know that.
But hold on, here's the bigger picture and what I see. And, we've talked about this a lot. And, I believe if she didn't feel comfortable, she should have recused herself and walked away. But having a bone to pick with you, she's wanting to see who's coming in to record her because people know that she's being dirty. And when she's doing that, like she's patting people down, telling them to take their clothes off, checking his ID, stacking my courtroom with 6 people because Kyle French is coming with people to come observe her court. How many people were there in your support, you think?
There were 11 to 12 people. There was actually a fairly sized church group that came
to support you.
Yeah, and I mean these are mostly even older courtroom watchers, elderly even, and
that's how she treated them. Put them in the back pew.
Oh, I mean, in some of their words, some of the folks were black folk, and they used the terminology. They were rows apart.
They were rows apart,
and the judge is black as well. So I mean, I don't think it was racially motivated in that case, but I mean, it's highly disturbing to take somebody's rights away and make them sit in the very back of an otherwise open courtroom.
Well, hold on. Hold on. But you're talking about taking somebody's rights away. I get it. Moving them to the back pew. But she put you in jail for 6 months. She ruined your life. Like like you lost a lot out of this, didn't you?
I lost everything I've worked for the last 20 years.
And this is the reason why we do shit like this. It's because these judges are making these types of decisions, ruining people's lives. And when we come to observe, we bring court observers. We're being shaken down in the courtroom. Chavez, you got something?
Man, I know that experience was traumatic. Judge Curvey disgraced the bench on January 22nd, 2024, when she violated not only my rights, but the rights of all of us present. No judge has the authority to strip people of their dignity in open court.
And one of the things that we're seeing is some of these judges, it personally happened to me here in Bexar County. A judge demanded that I turn over my cell phone. Mr. Saldana, turn in your cell phone. Give it to the bailiff. For what? What have I even done? I'm just here to observe. It's not even my court. I'm just there to observe, and they're trying to take purses, trying to take your cell phone. And,
I thought the Fourth Amendment said people were supposed to be protected in their personal effects.
Yeah. And when I didn't want to give my cell phone to the bailiff, this judge had the bailiff escort me out. I filed official oppression, because I wanted to go watch my court proceeding without being shaken down. So it is happening, and people are seeing how these courts are behaving, and it's affecting people. I got thrown in jail. Kyle got thrown in jail. Kyle, what other things happened to you in Harris County? You got detained for 3 hours with some people, and what? There was no incident report, no nothing. And I know you and I have tried to talk to the Harris County Sheriff's Internal Affairs about reporting these officers. We can't even report these bailiffs to their supervisors because none of them want to take a report on their colleague. Kyle, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so on October 24th, 2023, I was detained while eating lunch in the basement of Judge Curvey's courthouse, not room, but of the courthouse building.
So you're in the courthouse. You're not even in the courtroom.
Correct. She sent her bailiff, who summons the precinct 1 constable. The constable's in charge of the building. So the bailiff knew he didn't have jurisdiction. So he summons those that did. And all this came from, we have the body camera video. All of this came from, admittedly, by the bailiff, came from Judge Curvey herself. Other officers are asking the bailiff, what do you want to do here? And they said, well, the judge wants him arrested, so we're going to go arrest him. And so they poured 9 deep, 9 constables and the bailiff of the 280th. I was shackled by the constables and then led back to where I was then effectively in the jurisdiction of the 280th, where they could then detain me. And so they knew that they couldn't do that. And here's the funny thing is Judge Curvey wasn't even on the bench that day. She was taking a CLE training class. So she had exactly 0 jurisdiction over any.
Well, wait a minute. How are they detaining you? What was your criminal complaint? There's not even anything filed with a court. Nobody called 911. You're sitting there eating, and you just have stormtroopers, constables, and sheriff come and shackle you guys up. And where did y'all go? Where did they put y'all?
Back in the detainment cell, the holding cell of the 280th District Court. Which
how long were you in there?
4.5, maybe 5 hours. They brought some little kid over with a clipboard, the district's attorney's office. They wouldn't even confiscate my phones or things like that because I told them I had the videos of today's incident, along with other bad things that the judge has done on some hidden camera, and they didn't even want to take my things.
And I know y'all have reported all this. I know y'all. I've been with you guys. We've documented about reporting the misconduct in Harris County. So I want to talk about what's next. What's next for this? I mean, Kevin, you got a sanction today I know it was given a couple weeks back and you just found out about it, but you got a sanction today, and so did you. Kyle, you got a sanction. And so, Kevin, tell me moving forward, is this over or what?
No, it's not yet. Supreme Court.
What are you doing?
United States Supreme Court is for Curvey is what's next.
So you went up to not just the Texas Supreme Court, you went to the U.S. Supreme Court?
No, I sued her in federal court, and then appeals court I lost. They shut it down, and then now it's going to be United States Supreme Court.
And remember, you're the guy that has 2 successful sanctions on judges. So whether they think you're bluffing about the Supreme Court, I don't know, but we can definitely tie you to 2 sanctions, right?
Well, her attorney has already been served with notice.
All right. Kyle, what do you think moving forward? What's next?
Well, I definitely think Judge Curvey should have recused herself a long time ago. But that's not up to me. I'm not going to file any paperwork for that. That's not my fucking job. to be nice about it.
I mean, you lost your livelihood. You were gone for 6 months away from your daughter, right? Because of these games. Like, I'd be pissed. Like, I lost it. Like, you lost a lot, you know? I know we talked while you were in there, mentally, emotionally, like it really fucked you up, right? And so now, like, is it over? What's next for Kyle?
No,
How do you rebuild from that?
I'm going to tell you, it'll never be over for me. The things that I went through and the price that I paid, it will never be over for me. And this woman, she doesn't have a checkbook or an ass big enough to pay for the 6 months that she owes me.
Yeah, and so like, and you, I mean, you're away from your daughter mentally, emotionally, financially. You had to sell things for your freedom, like all because this judge couldn't be fair, right? Because all you wanted to do was be a dad. All of us just wanted to be a dad, and we're here documenting what's going on in these family courts. Chavez, you want to jump in on this?
I mean, foremost, it hurt to see her threaten Kyle and to me not take him seriously at all in the courtroom. This was a clear violation of her judicial authority. I'd say anything that went on that day in that courtroom, and I'm sure in the days after, and even until today, is not even lawful. It's just abusive. Curvey is unfit to serve, having replaced fairness with corruption and intimidation. And I think Harris County should do more than sanctions.
So that brings me to my next point.
I agree. She should be impeached.
Impeach? You think the Supreme Court should impeach her? I do.
Absolutely. I believe Lena Hidalgo and the rest of her Keurig crew should file criminal charges against her and throw in the Harris County Jail on the women's side. I mean, ordering me to take off my clothes in a courtroom, that's not justice. That's humiliation, intimidation, and the weaponization of her role.
Kind of like Stalder and Curvey deserve a prison cell together.
Say that again.
Stalder and Curvey deserve a prison cell together.
Yeah, I mean,
violating all the rights.
And here's the thing: it's not just Stalder and Curvey. We've seen other judges. We've seen Judge Peak do it. We've seen Judge Dunson do it. Right? We've all tried to report it to no avail, and then all of a sudden, boom, boom. Because of our advocacy, what we've been doing, the measures that we've taken. I've gone to jail. Kyle's gone to jail. Kevin, I'm not sure, but you know, we've gone to jail just trying to expose these issues. How did you, real quick, are there any tips on writing a judicial grievance? You wrote them. You've got 2 probably pretty successful, right, records. So give me tips about writing your grievance. What do you?
Well, in my humble opinion, I would recommend whenever you print out the 6 pages from the SCJC website, you got to waive your confidential rights for them to investigate your complaint fully. Because if you don't waive your rights, they're going to use the same standard as confidentiality, and they cannot, under law, they can't fully investigate your grievance. So that's first step. Second step, go to the SCJC and on the website and research the canons and, you know, records keeping, everything else of that sort. And always record everything. And the big thing is whenever you go to court, always have witnesses with you, family members, court watchers, anybody with you. So if the judge doesn't enforce the law or violates your rights or anybody else's rights and you file a grievance, you can get their witness statement affidavits and file them with your grievance as exhibits for evidence for when you file your grievance against that judge.
All right. Kyle? You got a sanction too? Give me some tips about writing your judicial grievance. What How did you figure it out? How did you and Kyle work together, or how does this work?
Yes, I took a lot of advice from Kevin Means that he already had an active a sanction that had already been granted. I had several grievances that had been dismissed. The commission likes to dismiss those complaints because it eliminates the workload for them. So it's very easy to just say, "Oh, I don't have to do this," right? So given the way that, I think rejection and failure is probably one of the best tools that you can have is to learn from your mistakes. Like we've all been learning from our mistakes. They've been doing this for years. The lawyers, the attorneys, the state commission, all this stuff has been around for years. And there's been so many people that have hit the wall and bounced off and tried, and I'm going to try this. They've seen it all. So, I mean, the best thing the best advice that I could give is read what the judicial canons are for the judges. That's their set of guidelines that they must follow as a state sitting judge. But they're also bound by the rules of the bar. But the most important is the judicial canons. Those judicial canons in particular describe to a T what their conduct should be expected to be.
And a judge shall comply with the law, right?
That's correct. They are not immune to criminal liability. However, they are immune to civil liability. That's where they try to write off our grievances as being leveraged towards the judge's discretion or their rulings. The state commission will not interfere with the rulings, no matter how terrible it is. They won't get in the middle of that. It has to be something to do with a judge's actual behavior in violation of the law or those judicial canons.
Mr. Watson?
I really don't care about Curvey. I think I've been clear about where she could go. But there's more than her. There's more than her. During my experience in the Harris County civil courts, I too was violated by Judge Waldrop and her assistant judge. So those in Houston, those in Texas, I would say, do what we've done. Go to the courthouses and observe your elected and appointed officials and record where you can. Be prepared for them to be against you, but stand up firm like we did. Once one person was thrown out of the court, it was all a domino effect. We all left together pretty much. I think I was the second or the third person.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have faith in the Texas judiciary?
Absolutely not.
Kyle French, do you have faith in the Texas judiciary?
300 days and losing everything I own just to be a father, never being charged with a crime. I mean, everything I've done is contempt of court because they didn't like that I told them to stick it up their ass. That, what you do is that is against the law to violate my rights is not okay. So no, I have zero confidence in the judiciary at most every level, because if there were oversight and there were checks and balances, everybody's got a boss. And then there's failures on so many levels. It's not an issue of being, I think, that judges are incompetent. It's they know the law. They didn't get elected. They've been attorneys for years. All judges are attorneys. They are competent, but many of them choose to do things that benefit their colleagues rather than the general public they were elected to take care of.
Kevin, do you have confidence in your Texas judiciary?
Not at all. Because former Judge Barbara Stalder, with all the news media attention, she should have been impeached. She should have been thrown in prison for handing out lifetime protective orders. Instead, the SCJC let her finish her whole term. And it kind of looks the same way about Curvey. Curvey might have some sanctions against her, which is a slap on the wrist, but they should have done articles of impeachment.
I think the Texas Supreme Court needs to impeach more, or I'm not the Supreme Court, the legislature, the House, right? The House brings the articles of impeachment. In closing, guys, let's wrap it all up, from A to Z, what we talked about tonight. You got a couple minutes. Tell me.
She's incompetent. I mean, she's already started for her re-election campaign. I know all of us need to go out there and vote her out. So, she's going to be getting more sanctions, hopefully, in the near future. And the SCJC hears the rest of those complaints coming. But, yeah, she's incompetent. All she likes to do is violate people's rights, especially confidential courtroom. It ain't a confidential courtroom.
No confidential courtroom.
No, that shit's for the birds.
All courts are open to the public, so the public has access to those courts. And if they're blocking you, they're trying to identify you, trying to take your cell phone, trying to undress you, just like we said. These courts are getting out of hand. Kyle French?
Oh, I could say it. Full of shit.
All right. Kyle French? Kyle French, what do you think of the 280th District Court?
First of all, George, a lot of people don't understand the 280th District Court is a standalone family violence court that was conceived in 2009. It's a specialty court that only hears family violence or domestic protective orders specifically only under the preponderance of evidence standard. Mm-hmm. That standard bypasses constitutional protections. It allows a secondary gateway, a second road, an easy street, if you will, for attorneys to obtain protective orders so that they can influence other matters of child custody, immigration, property disputes, and divorce. Look, there's a big, humongous push to stop people that can articulate what's happening in the 280th District Court. They know how it works. All the attorneys know how it works, and they're making a profit off of it. However, they don't want people like me and Kevin Frymier that have basically a silver tongue of talking about this. We're not afraid of it. We're not afraid of Judge Curvey. We're not afraid of Judge Stalder. Judge Curvey, once she got into office, decided she's going to protect the integrity of the loopholes. She got right back into bed with AVDA, which is Judge Stalder's baby, her lobbyist group. I mean, there is so much going on in this courtroom. It's unreal. The problem's not so much the judge. The problem is that it's a specialty courtroom with the preponderance of evidence standard, therefore giving the judge 51% or more authority of discretion rather than the preponderance of evidence standard.
Do you even think she used 51% on you?
Fairly, no. I think she used 51% of her emotions towards me. I'm a huge thorn in her side. I hand-delivered her a cake. I protested. I did this. Look, she knows that Stalder got out of office with my help. And
so both of y'all are just going around motivating these judges to do better.
We're trying to, George. It's difficult. There are good judges out there, and we're certainly, I won't say we're friends, but we're associates with a lot of these judges.
I'd say you're correct.
And there are a lot of good ones. However, it's a brotherhood. It's just like we talked about with law enforcement, the military. You're taught to protect your brethren like they're your family over everything else, and the integrity of the system is protected by their own.
Yeah.
What about the hogwash video that she was with Maisha Coulter and AVDA? That ought to be too.
Excuse that they use is, I want to see my kid. I say, okay, is there an AOP on file? Have you signed this birth certificate? Are you dad? Okay, let's do this. We'll put some temporary orders in place. We're going to name mom temporary SMC, name you PC. We'll give you domestic violence. We'll give you visitation at the DRO, and let's go ahead and get this child support set up. And when you start doing that, and you start touching that wallet, all of a sudden nobody wants to see the poor kids.
Chavez, you want to end it?
Seventh, Watson. I'll say this about the 280th. On January 22nd, 2024, in Judge Curvey, I hope you see this. You engaged in conduct that cannot be reconciled with the duties of a judge. Our rights were violated in direct contradiction to the Constitution and the Texas Code of Judicial Conduct. You thought escalating intimidation instead of exercising impartial justice would be secret. Your conduct, Judge, wait, I'm going to just call you Damien, right? Your conduct represented denial of due process, violation of equal protection, abuse of judicial authority, and contradiction of canon number 2 of the Texas Code of Judicial Conduct. So any of our listeners, colleagues, or even our haters, I would stay away from the 280th. If your case ends up in the 280th, I would file a venue change, because you will not get anything fair in the 280th unless you're the complainant. You won't get anything fair. Your constitutional rights will not be upheld, will not be heard, and they'll get away with it. But guess what? If you're watching this, she didn't. Curvey, you didn't. And so the 280th, I would say, is as foul as the criminal courts in Harris County. So my last words would be, beware of the 280th.
And I guess I'll close it out. I don't know how, I guess I'll close it out, but, what?
I'd recommend everybody to watch that video about the confidential courtroom that you have. Awesome video. Very informational.
Very informational. So I'll close out with this. It's not just me. It's not just Kyle or Kevin or Chavez Watson that goes through these issues. It's bigger than just us four. And we've learned that if we have each other's back, that we can do almost anything. We obviously collectively all work together as a team to get 2 sanctions on Judge Curvey because of the things that are going on in these courtrooms. These men have had my back. I have their back. And the public's awake. The public is watching. The public is observing. They're educating. They're motivating each other for justice. And a lot of these are just parents wanting to be parents. And here we are in Harris County getting thrown on the floor, getting searched, getting ID'd. And again, my case, I got beat up by these same bailiffs. Intimidation is just one of the normal, everyday, routine things they do in Harris County. And we've spoken out about it. We've tried to make reports. And these 2 gentlemen, Kyle and Kevin, they stuck with grinding every day because this is a full-time job to see what these guys do. These guys are emailing the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. They're wanting a meeting. These guys are emailing. They're trying to talk to the investigator, and they're being shut down everywhere they go. And it seems like our advocacy is working. We've been moving mountains. All 4 of us were at the State Commission on Judicial Conduct's public meeting. We all voiced our concerns, and it sounds like we're moving in the right direction. For some of us, we'll never get that time back from our kids, and we'll never get the time back that we were falsely incarcerated for speaking out against our judicial system. But guys, I appreciate it. I'm proud of you guys. You guys have had my back from the beginning. We all work together as a team. And we should start taking these judges off these benches if they don't know the bare fundamentals of the Constitution. It is what it is. I believe it's official oppression, what Judge Curvey did to Kyle French. And I believe that his claim, he can't sue her, but she did ruin his life. She did destroy that man. All because she wanted that position. She wanted to hold power, and she can't be trusted with that power. And I'll leave it at that. You've heard from everybody else. George Saldana. I want to thank Kevin Frymier, Kyle French, Chavez Watson for being here tonight. And y'all have anything, reach out to us and share this video. Good night, guys.